Also, like, convert everyone to Bears fans this year. It's the year to do it.
Except the rest of the end of the season.
Yeah. Okay, we do have quorum. Oh,
I go.
oh, thank
I'm
you.
closest.
We have quorum at 6:30. You can begin whenever you would like to, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, it's actually like super nice. Yeah.
I'll wait for everyone to come in. Yeah, good call. All right, go ahead and get started here. Start off with, obviously, so this is our December monthly meeting. I believe, we missed last month, but before we get to that, we'll start with roll call. I'll start. Pat Fitzgerald, member present.
Mel Staff Liaison present.
Killian Love, member present.
Hillary Kerwin, member present.
Lana Garcia, member present.
Bruce Raymond, member present.
Elizabeth Shaw, member present.
Logan Dunning, vice chair present.
And it looks like nobody's online, so got everyone there. So we'll go in with the approval of last meeting's minutes, which was the October meeting. Any questions, comments, edits from there? If not, I'll go ahead and open the floor to approval of last meeting's minutes.
Motion to approve last meeting's minutes.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. All right, a little rusty, month off. Public forum, nobody's online, so we can move ahead. So we'll start off with our typical standing community and new subcommittee projects updates.
I can take it.
Go ahead.
I will provide a readout from our Sustainability Communications Subcommittee meeting that we had last month. Thank you to Lana, Pat, and Killian for joining me on that. It was productive. Oh, Mel's already got a slide ready. Nice. So we ideated on a number of topics. Like you can see, I didn't remember it was this many, to recommend to the city's communications team to include in the upcoming spring magazine. And I wanted to see what dates. Mel, do you know when this one drops?
No, but they just did, the deadline to submit proposals was yesterday, but we typically just do like Sustainability Commission hold, so we're looking fine.
Okay, I've got it right here, just for context. Let me see. Spring edition content recommendations. This will go to print late January. Does that track?
That tracks to me.
Okay, just wanted to provide some timing context behind these recommendations. Hi, Christine.
Hi.
Christine's present.
Present. Marked.
Okay, so I'll just run through these. Subcommittee chime in if I've forgotten anything, and commission members, please poke holes in these or +1 them or add to. From the top, since this drops the last week of January, early February, we're thinking about spring and summer and lawns and conservation. That's sort of the lens to view a lot of these. Energy efficiency is a big topic here. The first one was the very successful turf replacement grant cycle. And I had highlighted to find out the timing of that from Mel. Do you have that in front of you by chance?
No, we haven't gotten our contract from them for 2026 yet. We should any day now, honestly. But the one thing we could do is they always have interest forms available. So
Yep.
worst case, we could say like, go and put an interest form.
Yeah, just plug a link to it or something. That's great.
Mhm.
That's been a successful program, I would say. I mean, 2 people on my block have done it. I know several friends. I think Tracy had done it at some point.
An Englewood resident got in the news about it, which was
Right.
really cool.
Very popular. So wanted to plug that. We'll drop a link. That'd be awesome. And so you can see, let me see. So the formatting's a little wonky here, but I have like subgroups. So the top one was sustainable lawn and garden prep, turf replacement program. Second to that was native flower planting guides. Wanted to get some public information, education out of like what are early bloomers that that support pollinators through the summer and early fall months. I had a bullet here for that Killian might look into some planter seed lists for early planting.
I have a question on that. Are you, what I'm envisioning when you say that, and I think would be very helpful, is like more, like kind of a chart, like blooms in May, in June, July, August.
Oh, I
So
love that vision. Yeah.
yeah, like, so you're just gonna sit out like a month, this is what blooms.
We might not need to recreate the wheel. That might exist
No,
somewhere.
I already need to get an email or reach out to CSU, maybe a couple of other organizations, also maybe with some ideas for Bellevue Park for an asterisk for later.
Yep.
Um,
Good plug.
so I can put that on there.
It'd be awesome to
See,
We
link,
have-
both planting timelines and blooming timelines.
Yeah. like
We
a,
have that already,
Sweet.
if that's helpful. We did it for the ecological guidelines thing for parks.
Cool.
So if you want, I can take that off your plate.
Okay, cool, great.
nice. Thanks, Mel. That'd be a great
See if
plug,
anyone
either
else
like
comes up.
a link to an external resource or a QR code to a chart, you know?
Yeah, I think that's it, because I feel like I hear this over and over. People are like, I don't know what blooms, when it blooms, and how is it
Yeah.
supposed to work? And especially because like in different areas, obviously, you can't just go on like Reddit, you know,
Yeah.
like somebody's in Florida, they have different parameters we do. Mel, on that, or on that one, maybe a QR code too, because this is paper.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, great flag. QR code to the turf replacement, I think, too. Or just a Inglewood/Grant replacement. or
Our
something.
comms team loves QR codes, so.
All the rage. I'll keep
Which I
going.
agree with.
Something that came to mind for our group was a general PSA of really avoiding chemical treatments, pesticides, fertilizers, anything that would harm pollinators and natives throughout the growing season. So we'll see if comms wants to sink their teeth into that. And then lastly, under this one is a pruning guideline. How to prune, what to prune, when to prune, what to wait on. I know there's quite a few resources on like, don't prune these things because they're good for the bees or something, you know, during the down growing seasons.
Can I pitch an idea, and you all can tell me if it's very terrible, but with Tracy now working at the city and having a lot of background in this, maybe it could be a more engaging blurb if it's like getting to know Tracy's position and then she highlights these, maybe?
I thought you
So-
were gonna go an interview style, which
Like a
I,
Q&A with Tracy.
but you can
from
ask her these specific
whatever her
questions.
title is.
Yeah, and I only say that because I was looking at the last quarterly magazines, and sometimes it can seem just a little bit more like reminder, so maybe like a different kind of pull for it. I can't
Yeah, you're
remember.
like, have you ever wondered, blah, 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 well, here's who to ask.
Mhm.
I'm so glad you asked.
Yeah.
I plug a resource.
And here's her email in case
Yeah.
you need it.
And her cell phone caller.
What is
That's
the
great, Mel.
position?
I'm looking that up right now because I don't want to butcher it. But I know it's something, it's like so great that we have this position now, so let me look.
Yeah, I'm pumped for her and the city.
On that PSA for avoiding those chemical treatments, would there be any value added if we said, here is some like natural, more homeopathic, here's what you can do, and how to do it, right? Same thing, there's a ton of rumors out there how people handle things and what works and what doesn't.
Good fit into the same.
Like, what is it that, Aphid, whatever, that's like Dove soap, you can just dunk your flowers upside down?
Not heard of that. I'm
See,
interested.
now, I worked at a greenhouse when I was 16, it was like my job. And it worked,
Sure.
but it had to be the same one that they used to clean the ducts with the oil spill. So I can't remember if that's Dove or Dawn.
I never heard of that as a qualification.
Okay, I'm gonna keep moving. Let's see, for time's sake. The next subtopic is home energy efficiency. Wildly popular program, the Excel free audit. Killian, did you get yours done?
I did yesterday, and on the demand for that, I scheduled that in like October,
Okay,
like early October,
Okay.
so they're out in a couple of months.
yeah,
But maybe we want to speak to it. It's not just for cold weather.
correct.
They also, I mean, drafts go both ways. They will wrap your hot water pipes to keep heat from bleeding out for your AC efficiency. Like even if you're thinking about warm weather stuff, like do it now. It goes both.
Yep.
Like they do both. It's also, we may want to at least change how we say, there are free options and there are not free options.
Oh, have they added like,
There's a more comprehensive, like paid, I don't know exactly what the different tiers are. There's the free, like, just some quick bang, bang,
that's
bang.
what I did, yeah.
Same, and they'll charge you $50 to weather strip more than one door, for example.
Oh,
You can only get one done.
Maybe
So
I got
just
in
pick
early.
one, and we go, that's what I'm gonna do on my other one.
yeah, I think I got in early before they realized they could be only.
So there's like there's a virtual visit, and then there's the free, which is free, then there's the in-home visit, which is free, and then there's like the kind of more expensive
Yeah.
version, which isn't free, but is, I think, like subsidized.
Okay.
So
But it's,
it's not all free, so we might wanna just make
if I
sure.
recall, it's all in one place.
Yeah.
So you can just visit their website, but it's a great program. I commend them for.
But it is, in high demand.
Cool, so schedule now. Great, I think that's a big one that we should plug. Moving right along, water conservation indoors and outdoors. With, winter season, the deep of winter, pipes freezing and busting, and plugging leak detection, not only to protect your home, but to not run your water bill up and waste hundreds of gallons of water if we're all leaving for the holidays or something. And I plugged this, in March, there's a Fix a Leak week, found that. I think that'd be cool to plug, I might check that out myself. Second, rebate, the ongoing rebates from the state for high efficiency utilities. Save some money, get some money back. That's water conservation, any thoughts?
Just a question, some utilities have apps where you can actually monitor your water live. So I mean, if a gallon runs, you see a gallon. And it's an app online. And so about a year ago, I called the Inglewood Water Department. And that was about the time they were going through their snafu of just getting billing to work right, where everything went nuts. And so, but they said they're going towards that goal, so it might be something to see if they're gonna have that in place.
Yes,
Because I've used it elsewhere and it's amazing.
I believe the city's still in their process of making the move
Wait,
from
didn't we
AMR to AMI, where the latter you can see in real time, your water consumption and leak detection.
Didn't we talk to the mayor about it too and say something about that? Like, hey, we should be able to send a text message if there's a spike. Like immediately to stop a leak from happening.
Oh, that was through the IngleFix app? Or was that something different?
No, I thought it was something different, but it was like through the billing that said,
Yeah,
hey, you
I
guys
think
should
they
watch.
said it wasn't an
If
Oh, I understand
somebody
the conversation
spike,
now, yeah.
then you should be sending a text message.
Thoughts? Can look into that.
Bruce, I can ask the utility department about that though.
Yeah, because whoever, I don't know who I spoke to, but they said it was in the future.
Once you work in local government, you realize that you should never give a deadline for something. I've actually made that mistake and I was like, never again.
Transportation, the Snow Buddies program is live. I've got several friends who are doing it. The one mentioned that they're always looking for more signups, so always a good plug to spotlight a successful program, very helpful program. Lastly, spring cleaning. We talked about decluttering responsibly, plugging donation guides, plugging local thrift where you can buy and sell, and then textile recycling programs as we're doing our deep cleaning coming out of winter into early spring.
Can we plug Ritwell on that?
You and I have talked about that. Can
I
we
don't know
plug?
if a government can promote a company purely just for promoting a company. So sometimes we'll advertise like the compost drop-offs at city centers that, yes, they're Compost Colorado, but we can have like a tie to them in some way. But we don't have any tie to Ridwell. So I'm almost positive we're not allowed to.
It's in the schools. Maybe we could do a little like thing on it with the schools and say the schools using Ridwell to do this.
If Englewood Schools had it and like highlighting a story, I feel like that would be fun.
Yeah, that would seems like it would be worth highlighting. Okay, so just an option.
Is that the company that takes hard to recycle things like Halloween wrappers? I feel like you've talked about that.
No, we
group
talked about it
before.
during the Halloween.
Yeah, and then they partner with local companies and they recycle. So I think the last one was like wearable bras, but they've done like jewelry or they've done like gowns, you know? But then they do other things like corks and keys and like electric cords and chargers and things like that. And then they recycle it responsibly. Or
Maybe
whatever.
that could be a general, really good highlight about Englewood School sustainability, like in general, and then they mention that.
Always done to collaborate with the schools if they want to do something. Last bullet, plugging the Tri-Cities Council of Hazardous Waste drop-offs. And is that year-round now? Or is
Yes,
it?
we don't have events anymore.
Right.
We just have the At Your Door program, which is so popular that it ran out mid-October, which is a good problem to have. It's starting back up in 2026 though, so
Oh,
it's
great, timely plug.
fine.
So get in on it now.
Yeah.
Get on it now, yeah, it's
Hot
been
commodity.
super popular. We've had people so happy about it. Before the At Your Door program, I just got really very angry people throughout all the year except for September when we hosted the events. But something to plug that I feel like a lot of people don't know is the paint care program that the state of Colorado has. So it's not for every single type of paint, but if you have old paint that you want to get rid of, like you should not go through the At Your Door program and pay $20 because it's free to just drop off at these certain ones. So that's an option.
Maybe for the next newsletters, so people might be painting on one or other,
Mhm.
put that on. That's great.
I can note that. Thank you. That's it for me. What general thoughts, are those decent recommendations for a magazine dropping early February?
You're gonna put all that in February?
No, we're recommending, the comms team will pare it down.
Oh. I thought that was like almost, I thought that was for like 3 quarters.
No, these are our recommendations for this.
Yeah, those are great.
Nice. I don't think a vote's needed on this, they're just recommendations.
Yeah.
I'm at time, so I'll be quiet.
I
Thanks,
did
Pat.
not know it was timed.
In that magazine edition, we're gonna try to have an article about the launch of the native plants lawn replacement program.
Oh, can we add that? That's brilliant.
So, we're hoping that'll be a longer article. So that is very complimentary to the first chunk of things you have there. I don't know if there's,
Have you talked to comms? Do you have your own half page or page or something?
There's a little,
Rick is going back and forth with what resources we can
Okay.
into, but you may know
there's a little
more.
snafu with having that in the magazine because at the city council meeting, one of the council members wanted to put a pause on having it go forward. And Mayor Sierra did vocalize like, you know, their hope is to get in the next magazine, but that shouldn't be he wasn't trying to like push any council member one way or another, but it is at a pause. So we're trying to figure out what we can and can't do. It's looking not the most likely to get in the next magazine, but we're trying our best to figure out if it can or can't.
Why?
So there was a council member that just wanted to pause so they could better understand. I believe it was like the role of code enforcement, the role of sustainability commission, and then some other details, which I'm not fully remembering off the top of my head right now. It is on the recording of their meeting.
Do you know when that
Last.
was roughly, Mel?
Yeah, it was like Rita, like a week ago, right?
Okay, I'll go back and listen to it.
Yeah, I think it was the one at the not this past, not the one yesterday, but the one before. If you go all the way to the end at the council's choice, where they get to pick topics, the mayor brought it up.
Okay.
So we're just trying to decipher like what the appropriate next move is.
Gotcha.
I think it was.
Sorry, but we still have the budget, we still get the budget for the signs. That hasn't changed, correct?
So for the signs, communication does have wiggle room in their budget to do some signs, but it has to be used in 2025.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're trying. The thing with annual budgets is you can go a little bit into January, but just a little bit, I'm pretty sure, and account it for 2025. So we have to figure that stuff out too. It's the end of the year and it gets a little dicey.
Okay.
But Rick is in the know about this as well.
Well, that's a good segue,
Mhm.
Great, segue
because we're
away.
supposed to cover it.
All you, girl. Here's the mic.
that, like, well, the high and lows are that, I'll do and then Hillary helped me here. So the last meeting that we had, we divvied up amongst, the subcommittee, some of the high level overarching agenda items. So for an example, outlines of what the website needs to look like. Tracy's chasing down logos right now, working with communications. Hillary, I would describe her as the project manager. I don't know if that's too overarching. She's like the plan master.
Or like the marketing and rollout, not,
Yeah,
not everything.
yeah, not everything, but, and then, so we've got that, and then again, communications came back and they said they've got some budget for these signs. And they asked us how many. We were on the fence. I think amongst ourselves, we're pushing back for about 100 of them, I think is our consensus.
Lawn signs?
Yeah, so the idea is that the lawn gets certified, we've got 100, these, and then part of that, the whole process is, filling out the application and getting all of the, and you're submitting some finances, like just to get your buy-in, like literally buy-in in, and then coming back with those signs. So we're looking for those signs as part of the budget this year, but that would support the entire pilot program for the following year. And that's the goal, so we're working on those now. We didn't, going forward, and I did talk to Rick, but I don't think I got the impression that it was like a pause. Is it just like, don't put it in the magazine at all?
Not a firm don't, we just need to understand that moving forward is something that all council is kosher with.
So then, and then we have a meeting on Monday, and then on this coming Monday, which it's on the public calendar, I hope. And we're going to discuss some of those questions that came up, specifically like what does this exact process look like for city council, and how are we going to answer their questions? So that's the next thing that'll come up, and then we'll present that to them.
Does it need unanimous support?
The program?
Yeah.
No, there was just kind of like the pause. I highly recommend watching the end of it because I do feel like I'm gonna miss out some things because my memory is terrible. But there was just a general want for a pause and there was no pushback on it.
Got it.
So,
Clear.
I mean, there wasn't a vote, but it was just kind of like, okay, this will just be paused.
Yeah, like it's dicey to go forward if you don't have your ducks in a row.
Mhm.
Bruce and Hillary, do you guys have anything to add to that?
No, I think that's it.
So
Just
are
they
you-
want-
I think it's
They want the whole
plan to go back
process.
to city council?
Yeah.
It's
Or like
more for the next steps, in my opinion, it's more of just internal understanding of what's happening next. We kind of need a little clarity from, I think the mayor and a few council members, which they can do during a city council meeting, like commissioner's choice time. I don't think they need a full presentation about what they're comfortable with. But at this time, I don't think the subcommittee needs to go back yet. It's just internal, like, things that they're wanting.
I think there will be a memo though, right? I was just trying to go back in my emails and confirm before I said that was in fact, but. So there will be correspondence.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that's our communication. Okay.
Good update. Great.
Is that it for these community and subcommittees? I think so. All right, so next up, we'll go up to standing decarb, Dr. Cog updates.
I have such great news. We got internal approval for all $900,000 for the decarb funding. Woo-woo. I say internal because they still have, I believe, board presentations, but it's looking pretty good if you get the internal one. So as a reminder, the big heavy items for this is a time and cost share of a full-time building electrification specialist between us and Sheridan, staff training, a lot of staff training, conferences and everything. Also looking at, they're calling it the residential transparency pilot program of looking at what would it look like if Englewood and some other communities in the Front Range did it where at the point of sale for a house, or maybe it would look a little different, but in this context, an example, if you sell a house and the next person would have this report card of the house of how energy efficient it is. And then also the other big chunk of that is third-party energy code, energy energy code review for plans and projects, and also the actual like on the ground inspection for the next 4 years. So yeah.
And then the electrification of buildings is for city buildings?
For what the funding can be used for?
Yeah.
So it's any building in general.
Oh,
It just has to go towards building electrification.
oh, okay.
So for the full-time person, they're gonna be working on a lot, but a part of their scope will also be looking at municipal electrification and helping us with the project that we already have going on for electrification and energy efficiency.
I don't think it can be used towards the cost of equipment for municipal buildings.
Yeah, I can.
So that's why it's going to like training new employees.
Uh-huh.
Do you have a timeline for hiring an individual for that role?
So Dr. Cog, I think, said that we'd be pretty good in like February.
Yep, so
And we want to hit the ground running as soon as possible. Another thing is we'll have to go to council to get their approval to accept the funds. So again, government works a little slow. So we're hoping for February, but if things get tripped up a little bit, it might be a little bit after, but that's our goal.
don't give dates, Mel.
That's why I said we're hoping.
Yeah, government goes slow.
Is there any support from this commission that would be helpful in that process, like a letter of support for how impactful accepting the funding would be?
You know, I think we're gonna be good only because the funding has no match required.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed. I mean, it's just like a shoo-in.
It's like free. As
Yeah,
close to free money
yeah,
as you can ever get.
yeah. Which we love free money. So I think we're gonna be good. I mean, we've had no kind of pushbacks thus far because it's all just like education stuff.
That's a great plug, Hillary. Let us know if that changes.
We'll do. Any other questions before we move on?
Thanks for the good news.
Yeah, I love giving the good news.
Take it away, Mel.
All right, so I brought this up a few times in meetings before, but we are getting closer to when the 2026 and 2030 strategic plan is gonna start getting a whole overhaul and gonna look really new. So I wanted to pitch for you all some time in this meeting if you wanted to talk about as a group of like what you're hoping to see specific to the sustainability section to give us some boundaries in this updated plan, whether that be projects, metrics, or whatever you want to see. And I don't want people to feel panicked if they like need more time because this is just a discussion time. January, we can also talk about it. We might even have February too, but I don't want to say that and not be right. So consider it this time and in January to think about it. So I gave everyone homework of looking at the sustainability plan as it is now. One other thing I'll say before I go silent is the sustainability division, aka Aiden and I, we're already creating kind of projects that we want to pitch. We're going to have that done by the end of December. So we'll share that with you all at the next meeting. So you all can kind of compare like, what do we have? What do you have? And combine them all together. And then, sorry, this is the last thing. If everyone agrees on something, I think it is a lot more powerful to have that memo to council of like, these are all the things that we strongly recommend to have in that next plan. So just think about that as well.
Should we plan to vet a memo by the end of January?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And I'll have this answer by the next meeting, but I'll ask the deputy city manager if there is time in February or maybe even beyond. I'm kind of a little fuzzy on what their timeline looks like. Maybe even January could be further discussion and February could be the memo. I just don't want you all feeling rushed at all because I mean, the sustainability plan really is that blueprint for the work that happens going forward.
Hey, Mel, I have a question.
Yes.
For like the strategic plan, for some reason I thought that they did it, I thought that they did it every year. So is this just a constant roll forward, meaning like, and then this one just says 2022 to 2025, so it went from like 3 years to 5.
Yeah, so they don't do it every year. Englewood, every municipality you go to is gonna do their either strategic, comprehensive plan, whatever they wanna call it, a little bit differently. So an example at Sheridan, they have a comprehensive plan from 2015. that they haven't touched. And our sustainability plan was adopted as a piece of that, and we don't touch that sustainability plan, we just work off of it. Englewood's a little different where they do quite a bit of updates every year. So if you look at the sustainability plan from when I first started in 2022 to the most recent one, it is like worlds different. There's pros and cons to that, to any way that you do strategic planning. So that's another thing to say is because they update it every year, that does take a little pressure off of like, if you think of something mid-year, you're gonna have the next year to pitch of what you would wanna see in there, which that's also the blessing. And sorry, I feel like I didn't answer the biggest part of your question. Even though it'll get tweaked and updated a little bit every year, it's not gonna look completely different.
Right,
Maybe there are some.
Yeah, that's what you answered it. That makes sense, right? It's a little bit rolling, right? You got this overview, but you're gonna tweak it.
Yeah, so this could look totally different than the one before. If that's how people wanna go, it could look very similar, and there's no right or wrong to either version.
I have something.
Yes.
So I know that we've talked about the waste characterization study that's happening. And then here under waste and recycling, it says implement public education and outreach around waste reduction. I guess I just wish there were like more of a push towards citywide composting. I know that we've talked about this before, but I guess I'm wondering if this is like as far as we can go for the strategic plan.
Isn't it tied into, am I crazy? Is it tied into the single hauler?
It is, it
Yeah.
sounded like when we talked about it.
That's
And
right.
the council that was then was not wanting to touch it again, but we have a new council now.
And maybe
Kind
different
of
pricing.
Yeah.
Since that was right during the pandemic.
I will also say, this is just my opinion. You are the resident and this is your community, so if your group wants to pitch something, I would say do it. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Another thought on the compost, then, since getting it for every house is kind of a big leap and maybe expensive, it's nice we have drop-off points, but going to the rec center and still having to pay is kind of rough. And I was wondering about a middle ground where I was dreaming about if I could take it to a drop-off place at my nearest park that the city would pay for. Because I could take it a block away without having to haul it all around town. And then a whole bunch of residents around there. Or maybe one for each Englewood neighborhood or something as a way to move in that direction, somewhere between two in the city where you have to pay versus everyone at their own house where someone's paying a lot, either the resident or the city.
Well, just a thought on that is I feel like the buy-in, like literally the money is kind of there, helps to keep people a little bit honest. And otherwise you don't know what ends up in there. Does that make sense? Like how people recycle is hard, right? Yeah. And because nobody wants the numbers. And my husband and I, it's like we get a fight about it every week. It's so cool. Every week about the goddamn recycling. But just tonight, I think if people have to pay money, you're a little bit more careful, right? We're not so nonchalant with like, it doesn't matter. But that's just a thought. I like the location idea. I think I want it to matter to people because I don't want it filled with trash instead of compost.
I'm trying to check something on the plan really quick for Englewood, because I think so in the South Metro diversion plan for Englewood, we have a goal in there of implement food scrap curbside service for composting for single family residents. And this is another good thing to add. So we, at least right now, we're told if we already have a plan in place in the strategic plan, we'll put like plug and plan this so we don't duplicate goals in other plans. So we do have that to implement in the South Metro, implement/explore in the South, in Englewood specifically.
Maybe my broader ask related to that too would be just like, I don't know how to best phrase it, but keep the conversation open or continue to solicit and value community feedback about possible single hauler or city operated waste diversion, including compost in some form or another, because it's just like, there was this whole comprehensive study and framework made for Englewood, and then it seemed like their single biggest, say, recommendation, council just kind of gave it a pass, because like it was, I just don't want that the next 5 years of plan to not mention anything about it because of a hard time that we had with a few people a few years ago. Like, this is the plan for the future. Let's not
Right,
decide
it
what
evolves.
gets done without the community input. Don't just decide we're gonna do it different now just because, but just keep it open. Keep it transparency there for,
That makes sense. Who do you envision paying for neighborhood compost bins? Like, do you have any idea? Like, this kind of
A money tree.
Yeah.
You,
Plant it right next to it.
That's great.
Or a cost share where, to your point, maybe residents could pay something minimal, like $5 a month, where something.
yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
I
right?
get
Just
that.
enough to be like,
as an example.
I'm paying for it, I don't wanna lose it, right?
I don't think there's a compost component, but for like Sheridan is pay as you throw for trash. So instead of paying, whatever market rate is set by 7 different companies, it's you want to waste more and you pay more, and that funds the rest of the program, if I'm understanding kind of how it operates.
Mm-hmm. Sheridan has some of the lowest trash rates in the front room.
So that's for
So-
regular trash also.
Yeah, so it's pay as you throw, and they get trash and recycling in their contract.
Denver operates the same way. Compost and recycling are free. The bigger bins for trash, the bigger your bin is for trash, the more you pay. Which I know council's first, that they would say, people are gonna hate that if the 96 gallon bin costs more than it used to under the free market. Of course, that's gonna be the blowback, right? But if you could pitch people, you're gonna pay half as much as you've been paying for trash, and you get these services on the side for free. That could be, but my ask is just to we leave the door open to figuring this out as a city, as a community, how we want to handle this, instead of just deciding we're never going to talk about it and let 7 or 8. I just keep seeing ads for yet another company run around and does this have to be only a private thing in our city, or can we do a better job? Let's keep evaluating this, whether the status quo is the best option for the community.
Yeah, maybe also to add on to that, like what you're saying as well, I mean, well, I don't know if it really adds on, but tangential is that, like a hauler that is trying to reduce their carbon footprint. So whether that's changing their routes or updating them or evaluating them on a regular cadence in order to reduce that carbon footprint so that they're not wasting, I'm sure that they do for their own efficiency, but, I don't think, there's always, you just want to know that they're doing it. Are you evaluating your path? So maybe asking to the haulers that are available or whatever, ensuring that they're evaluating their carbon footprint and maybe making that public in some way.
Or a sustainability component of the licensing for the contract?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
publicizing that, I don't know if the city has to track ESG. I feel like those went out the window. There was a time period in which ESGs had to be tracked for everybody, and then I think that went out the window.
What some people do in their licensing, which is more common than not, I would say, is in their licensing, they make it where the hauler has to share their tonnage data with you, and then you as a municipality or whatever can pull that greenhouse gas emission data. Currently, we don't have that, so when we had to do our greenhouse gas emission inventory, which we're gonna do again in 2026, it was fighting tooth and nail to get that, because it's their private information that they're, So that's more common than of what I've seen.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was envisioning more I'm going back to Ridwell. It's I love them. But they will reevaluate their routes on a quarterly basis. And then they'll say, hey, we're not picking up, we're picking up on Wednesday for you now because more people joined or dropped off or whatever, we're really trying to make sure we reduce the carbon footprint. And then they check in every time before every scheduled pickup, and then you have to opt in. Like it's automatically default, you're opted out. So they're really reducing, like I'm not stopping if there's nothing. So like a hauler, they're stopping whether there's trash, trash in the trash bin or there's not.
As a resident, something I would really like to see then is if they also had to report their rates. Because it's maddening that you can't find how much they charge on their website. You have to call it up, you have to go through a phone tree. They offer you a low deal, it sounds awesome. Several months later, your bill mysteriously goes up and you don't notice. You pay it for months before you realize I'm paying twice as much as they promised me. And everyone in the city is paying a different amount. And so maybe I don't know if there's a sustainability component there. That's just maybe a gripe.
No, but you know what,
If they could publicize as part of their relicensing, how much they're gonna charge each resident, that would be pretty awesome.
Well, I think the component that relates to the sustainability part of the plan of that is, we go with this options because it's cheaper. Well, is it? Can they prove that? Well, it's more efficient, then why won't they give us their data? Like, if we can't tell if it's costing people more money and we can't tell how, if the case for not doing the more sustainable thing is, well, it would just be too costly and too inconvenient and okay, then why won't these companies share anything with us? Why can't you compare their pricing without calling 7 different times? If it's that much better,
Can
Can they
cities
prove it,
compel-
please?
Can cities compel that kind of
I
transparency?
don't know.
they're not, I think Denver can't because they're paying for the hauler.
Oh, because they're the customer?
But, I mean, essentially you're paying for it through your taxes.
Yeah.
But then it becomes like, that has to be public, right? I wanna know what you're spending your money on.
Yeah.
Versus like every individual, like I can say, well, I pay this for Xfinity or whatever. Now, if we wanted to do a mass uprising, we could just put together a Google sheet and be like, hey, everybody go put in your address and your vendor and tell us how much you pay every month. And then we all call them like, hey, she paid $45, that's what I wanna pay. And then we all we take them down that way, that's a
You
different
wanna
story.
coordinate that?
Was it?
You wanna coordinate?
I would, but they took down the neighborhood websites.
And a very small thing that they came up to the single hauler issue is that there's a number of residents that don't have any trash service. And they were mad that then they would have to start paying the city because the city would know they don't have trash service.
Is that not a municipal requirement?
There's a guy, I live on Emerson, like by Emerson Park. And there's a little tiny pocket park on the other side of the street. And there's a trash can in there. And there is a guy who comes every day and throws out his trash into the trash can. And then comes back in the afternoon sometimes. But every day, same time, like on his way to work, throws away his trash in the trash can. Like a bag, not like out of the car, like where you throw a soda away. So I feel like they're maybe using the system in that way.
Yeah, I think so. Someone's paying for it, not them.
Seems like the upshot is what Killian was saying, like we just want to keep this conversation going and be open to like suggestions, creative suggestions if possible. We don't want to shut it down.
I think we just tie it into objectives though, like whatever that is, right? We want to make sure we're constantly evaluating our carbon footprint, or we are evaluating our ability to provide recycling for something. So you tie it into this objective so that when you tweak it, you're still looking at this objective, but you've now got a little more wiggle room around it and saying, well, we can make this objective if we pay for the single hauler, or whatever the case may be. So I feel like that helps in that.
And I think part of that objective would be just education too, because at least on my street, I'm just gonna stay really local, there's huge confusion about what is trash and what is simple recycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No idea.
Because it depends on what municipalities you lived in before, what company you use now, all these variables.
And, it's like the way people get information is always if they're next door neighbor they like tells them something that's better than any other source. And so, because aluminum or plastic wasn't being recycled very well, therefore also paper, tin, everything else is not recycled either. So don't do it. I mean, that's the message.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Could we include in one of the magazines like statistics on like how bad food waste is, like how much methane it releases to like start educating people? Because I mean, probably a lot of people don't realize how problematic food waste is, I would guess.
I think you're right about that. I agree with you.
Is there, I don't remember from looking at it in either the previous or well, we haven't seen the current, but did the previous, a lot of the goals were just, even across other goal, like higher level goals, were just to establish a baseline metric. I saw like a lot of it was just like, the goal for this period is to get a baseline, then we're gonna start looking to improve.
Yeah.
We now, with the waste diversion study, have a baseline. And so I guess maybe as a commission, do we want to ask them to adopt the findings of that study as a baseline goal for city sustainability? And
Like that.
Yeah.
if their official stance is this is our baseline and there's nothing we can do about it, fine. Ideally, then we would go say, here's our baseline. What can we do about it, whether it's with the private companies or a different solution? Like, can we say, we already have this data. We don't have to set a goal to get this data 5 years from now. We know where we're at as far as waste diversion, food waste percentage, solid waste, and all that. Like, we have this, we can adopt that into our strategic plan and say like, maybe we would love to see some, I guess that's what you decide when you're writing the plan, right? Is what level of improvement is possible, or if you don't think that it can be improved at all, then justify that.
Hey, Mel, I have a question, or no, I have a comment, guys, going back up to the compost, and I forgot it, now I'm remembering it. But, they, like, what, does everybody familiar with Lomies?
Oh, the composting trash can?
Well, they're not necessarily a trash can, but they're like, I don't know what you call them, a composter?
Oh, like the yard ones?
Well, these sit on your countertop,
Oh, okay.
right, and they like they're actually great. So you just both throw food scraps every night, compost it, done. But they make large ones for restaurants. And I'm wondering if it would be of any interest to say, hey, this might be a good one to look at in the long run of asking the restaurants to participate in this way so that you have this Lomi thing when you compost on your own, and then we'll share that back to the community or whatever that may look like. I don't know, that's just.
So we do have in the South Metro Plan, and Aiden and I are already planning it for 2026, organics grants for businesses. So that is a piece, not Lomi specifically, but that is.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
just the one I
sustainable
know that they,
Partnerships.
yeah. Cause then you can do like all that compost of all that food, you can't just use that for gardening. You gotta mix that up somewhere. Cause then you're gonna end up with a lot, then you gotta start trading somewhere.
Aiden's
The
working
question becomes, where do you do it all?
on this really cool program for the SBP program. It's the tentative name right now is the Circular Business Academy, but it's only open to businesses that are in the SBP program, which is free, so every business should be in it. But you go through the Circular Business Academy where you get trained on waste, and you look at your own waste, and then after you complete that academy, then you qualify for these organic grants in 2026. So we pair education with funding at the same time. It's so in its beginning phase, so that's like the high level of what we're looking at, but it is something.
What, I like this. Have you guys thought about like what you would do long-term with a whole bunch of compost in restaurants? And I'm being sincere. Like, it just seems like, what do you do with all of that?
Like what the city would do?
Yeah. Like what would be the idea is like, oh yeah, composting is great. But in my head, I'm like, what do you do with it? Does it just go to the landfill? Like, okay, I'm gonna compost, but actually I'm just gonna throw it away now.
We have a lot of parks land that could use it,
Yeah, you can incorporate it.
or
Yeah.
And that's part of the South
Yeah.
Metro Plan too, and that's on the list for the end of 2026, to look at how we can use more compost within our Parks Department. We haven't even started up that conversation yet, and again, it'll be later on in the year, but we're looking at
Yeah, that would be my only thought, is like when you're looking at it, is to the long game, so that it doesn't just end up composting the trash.
It would also be
Get to
cool to
that.
give it away at the educational events we've talked about for
Yeah.
people in the lawn program.
And then, yeah, a little Tracy, I mean, think about all those eggshells for the Breakfast Queen. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? Be like, they would be able to give that stuff away so fast, it's so great.
So fun.
On recycling, what's the status of recycling at multifamily properties? Because I remember hearing in years past, residents were frustrated that they didn't have the option of getting recycling service at multifamily.
So like, is the question, do we mandate that?
My
they-
question is, was there anything in the waste diversion study recommending anything about multifamily? And was there anything in the producer responsibility thing that would help us get it? And I remember Denver voters had to pass something that then took a lot of work, and I don't know.
So we have, it's a twofer. So in the plan for Englewood, we have like explore an equal space ordinance, which essentially would say if you're a multifamily or commercial or whatever council would approve, if approve, that if you have a space for trash, especially those like the dumpster style ones, that you have the equal amount of space for recycling. Because what we've heard from folks, multifamily buildings, is that they're like, well, we don't have the space for that where it is. And then for extended producer responsibility, I've heard in the past week, I've heard two different things. I've heard that it'll be free for multifamily if it's under, I believe, 7 units starting in 2026. And then if you're above that, it'll be in 2028 along with businesses. And then I just heard from someone else, no, it's every multifamily, no matter the unit. So I think there's some clarity that's needed there. And I heard one from a recycling hauler, and then I heard one from a government agency. So I was like, ugh. But yes, at some point. Worst case,
So-
2028.
Does that mean we don't need it in our plan because it's probably happening?
That's up to you all. I will say the equal
If
space
it-
one is already in the plan.
If it ends up in the plan, and then it happened, it's like, oh, look at us go. Like writing on your to-do list you already did. I think that's a good thing, personally.
So can you, what wording do you want for that? Is that looking for like mandate of multifamily to supply recycling?
Provide recycling services for the residents, or offer, include recycling?
And we don't have to get tripped up on the wording too, because it's just the brainstorming. It can be zipped and throughout.
Are you recording this call?
Yes.
And then you put it on to AI?
No.
I've told her she needs to do that so many times.
Oh, I like, even though my work got onto it, now I'm like,
You can use
Whatever.
So just do it.
can you write an email to my boss and tell him he's a jerk? That's anyway. But speaking of AI, I do have something to add to this.
Yeah.
This might be a hot topic, but what about like anything around protecting our community lands, what do you want to call it? The things that are like our resources from AI, from data centers and things like that, not
And the
diverting.
city's water rights.
Yeah, and I know that that's a hot topic right now, and we don't have the open land that those data centers would take. But I think it is something that has to be acknowledged, because it's only a matter of time before they're like, well, let's make little tiny data centers everywhere and take all the resources or whatever. So do we want to include anything that says, hey, going forward, this is how we're going to evaluate the ability to have a data center within it, or resources, something along
I
those
think
lines?
that's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at least like
Like
to,
take a stand on it and say like,
Yeah.
we don't want data centers.
Yeah,
Or at least
yeah,
ask the
I'll take
council-
water over jobs.
Yeah, yeah.
the council not move unilaterally on it, because there've been a lot of municipalities where it doesn't even get public comment. They just say, oh, well, we've been contracting this much water out to Cherry Hills Village, we're gonna allow them, well, Cherry, they wouldn't allow, but you know, like,
Right.
small towns in Michigan or Wisconsin that have water, like Englewood, have extra water supply to spare. And just like, there's just, nobody finds out about it. It just happens in a closed door meeting with no transparency.
Well,
You're talking about
and that's,
selling the water to
Yes.
someone else.
yeah. But that's a really good point though, is like the other side of that is what happens if something like we've leased out our water rights or we're giving water rights and they decide to build a data center? Right? Like are we protecting that or cutting it off or doing something? So we have to have some kind of like autonomy around that or like some, we gotta be able to pivot, I believe.
Or, I don't know how this fits into a strategic plan, but something like a community-wide vote, like it would have to be on the ballot or something. I don't know how this
Yeah,
works.
I don't know how, yeah, you really don't, because you know there's a lot of money,
Oh, yeah.
right? And that's the problem, is because it's a trade-off of a lot of money. And I don't know if we would ever be right in danger of that. We don't really have the space that those data centers need and, physical space. Doesn't mean it won't happen. It's smaller ones, doesn't mean it's not coming.
No, that's my words. I've seen other local municipalities have projects in the final stage and then someone with a lobbyist comes by and all of a sudden,
Yeah,
so it'd be nice to get a little hedging against that if we can.
Yeah.
Plan. I know they wouldn't just say no because they want business for the city, but it's just like, ask the community.
Yeah.
yeah. But what are we gonna eat when the water's all gone?
I have, 3 ideas on the energy stuff. But I don't want to move on from water or waste.
Oh, we're gonna get to revisit that.
Yeah.
Okay. On the energy stuff, we have a great, grant for residents to do energy efficiency. I think it's up to like $8,000 and you get an audit and you can get some funding to do energy efficiency measures at your home. And last I heard, we did like 10 to 12 houses a year or something, right? I don't know. So we're kind of ticking through them and it's a great program, but I would wonder if we could modify it to not have the funding go towards fossil fuel equipment and just say they're not eligible. And if you do want to put it in, then that's on your own dime. That's not prohibiting it, that's just saying, I don't really want my taxpayer dollars going to that.
So I just want to understand, so somebody could get a more efficient gas-based water heater, for example, as part of this program, and it would still qualify?
And so,
Okay.
Is that at the city level, that guy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
We disperse it.
okay.
Is it income
Yeah.
restricted?
Restricted. It's a really popular program. I think it reached its max every single year. But yeah, you're right. It can be a gas as long as it's an energy efficient gas appliance.
I think that's a dicey one to approach,
Yeah, it's gonna
to
be
be
a
honest.
pushback.
I personally see no issue with harm reduction.
I
If-
would say that the money could be used for other things. Energy efficiency would save any kind of energy.
Like, I think
It's
you
too
run into,
dicey,
you
could
run into
say.
danger of isolating out. You run the danger of really isolating people out and getting pushed back, I think. I think it's dicey to go. I think it's dicey to go in that direction. Also think, there's like different, what is the word? I mean, I know, I do understand what you're saying and it's not, I do understand what you're saying, but I think that it's a dicey one to go after because energy, like being energy efficient is better than not. But choosing what somebody can do to be efficient, I think is where you get into like a gray area.
I appreciate the devil's advocate. I do think the council's gonna get hung up on something that eliminates choice.
That's probably the word I was looking for.
I agree wholeheartedly with.
I think we
Going
also have
this
to
way.
consider like the lock-in effect, so if you're helping somebody get a new gas-based piece of equipment that has a 10-year or longer lifespan. You have to be cognizant of that, and that maybe the way around all this is what you were saying, that nobody opposes energy efficiency.
Right.
Oh, wait, yeah, one way to do it could be not having HVAC or water heating as eligible.
Or including like whole financial breakdowns of here's a new furnace, here's a new heat pump with all the rebates that the state of Colorado is offering and over a 20-year time span.
Are they
Yeah.
even in a position to be able to modify the terms of the grant? I don't know what the source was.
The source is through community block grant through the county, which is sifted through states.
So I'm guessing you can't, I don't actually know, I should just ask, can you just like change how that is dispersed and applied after the fact?
This is a great question that I can ask the program administrator, because if it isn't even allowed, then maybe that would be the answer right there.
Presumably that gets renewed every so often, right?
I think it's renewed annually. I could be wrong there, though.
Could be something to consider upon renewal then.
And for context, Excel is ending their incentives for gas furnaces at the end of this year. And starting January 1st, this state will only allow sales of residential furnaces and water heaters that are either Energy Star or ultra low NOx. And so would we be paying money towards what they would be buying anyway? And then not getting the efficiency benefit for the tax dollars?
I don't know how this works, but it seems like the way around it is to modify the kind of the name of the grant or their intention. So instead of saying you have to do this, the grant is shaped only towards, electrification or something like that.
Or insulation, windows, weather sealing. Especially because, fingers crossed, there's going to be a number of other good sources for heat pump incentives, especially in the coming few years.
So instead of saying like no funding towards fossil fuel, you could just say the funding is for these things and leave that out of the discussion, maybe is a way around it.
I like that.
And I mean, that's important context to know what's getting phased out and that this isn't like a big ask. This is what we
Maybe
should be
that's
doing.
another avenue too, though. I mean, there's pros and cons of this, but pegging it to what the state is requiring.
Yeah.
So Englewood isn't, or Arapahoe County isn't saying these are the things that are in or out. The state of Colorado is saying the things that are in and out. The con would be if we ever in the future want to move further faster than the state, but maybe an avenue now.
Or you could ask for language in this, I'm trying to think, what would the language be in the strategic plan that you can actually track that's like, how are we making progress on that? Is our grant funding being used in a way that exceeds state minimums for this type of technology?
Yeah,
It's a good way to try.
yeah, like you're meeting the state minimum requirements, like if you're
Yeah.
passing them.
Why are we spending city funds on stuff that's legally required by law anyway? But if it's better than that, whether that's zero emissions or just a higher standard, like can we somehow make sure that like what we're spending money on for all these upgrades, like yes, we're out ahead of it.
But that would still
What-
include a gas burning furnace if you have a high efficiency gas furnace. Because you could get above minimum efficiency standard. I wonder if you, to play into the choice aspect, you open it up even wider and you just provide more context on, yes, it's easy to go like for like, put in a more high efficiency gas furnace, but with all the rebates and everything that's available right now for heat pumps, this is what the cost actually would be. I know what you're going for though.
Do you have more, Christine?
And or possibly how could we, yeah, this is kind of unrelated to what, or only sideways related to, but can we expand eligibility even somehow? I know that if the funding's running out, then it's probably not, but like, I don't know, I'm personally always just above the threshold for all of these.
That's true. And what I was thinking when you were saying expanding eligibility is right now it's only available for homeowners. And arguably renters need the energy efficiency even more because they're the ones paying the bills and they're the ones that can't put in new windows or new heating, or water heating system.
And their landlord's not gonna pay for it. 'cause their
And it
landlord
seems
is
like,
cheap.
do we wanna have a giveaway for landlords? But the reality is we have landlords and renters. And if you own a home, one could argue you're slightly better off than renters that can't afford a home.
Well, are you saying that the renters would apply for it on behalf of the
I'm
landlords?
saying landlords would for up to
Rent.
one property a year or something. Be
Yeah.
eligible for it for up to one property a year.
You can apply, you can get stuff done with your landlord's permission on a single family home too. Like I signed off for all of the lead, service line mitigation stuff for my landlord.
Yeah, no, you totally can. I just didn't understand, like, if it was the landlord that would be applying, it has to be your primary residence right now? Is that what it is? So
I think
that's
for
why-
something like this, you need both parties' permission.
Yeah,
Or at least typically, that would be how, like you need, if you have either like a duplex or something like that, you can't, as a renter, go and do that kind of a major upgrade without your landlord's permission. And hopefully they would at least let you know what's going on too, right? Or at least give you a legally required heads up for that sort of disruption.
but wait, but is there a reason, are landlords not allowed, like, if I have a house, right?
Yeah.
I could apply for this and then just be like, hey guys, we're getting new windows. They'll be over on Tuesday.
See, I think most of them are owner occupied. They have to be owner occupied.
Is that what that's what I don't understand. So you're saying the grants, they have to be
Some of the
owner
programs I've
occupied to
seen,
apply?
that's what they are.
Is that what I'm hearing?
It's also maybe something you're not thinking about if you don't live in the house every day and it's just an investment property to you.
You're trying to spend as little money as possible.
Yes, and so you're wary of anything, even if it is extremely low cost or possibly even free. You're like, I don't want this to spiral out of control and cost me even more.
But also if you're a landlord, you're probably above this income threshold.
Yeah.
Certainly, but your renter might not be,
Sure.
and
So
they
who
could,
would that
they
be?
could get the grant funding done on your behalf.
Yeah, that's what, like, we have properties, if somebody applied on our behalf, I'd like, sure, go for it, that's great for you. Like, do it, but also I would, like, as a landlord, I'm not against applying, I just didn't understand. So like, right now, owner occupied only is allowed to apply,
I
right?
mean, that's what the ones
That's
I've
the
looked at.
understanding, and we want to change it so that renters could apply on behalf of their landlords,
Or that landlords could apply.
or the landlords could apply. But it's most likely the renters, right? The
Yeah,
person
I mean-
living there is the one that benefits, and they're the one who's going to apply because I.
And they're the ones
ones
paying Excel.
But that's good, right? And to your point, Killian, you just need both parties involved. But the point would be is that now renters can apply on behalf of landlords and landlords can apply for their properties.
Yeah, especially if the renter's the one paying the energy bill,
Mhm.
they might be motivated.
Yeah, right. We just want to give them access.
Yeah, on the website, it says you live in the home as your primary residence.
Okay, but that
Yeah.
doesn't specify that you own it.
Does it say you own the home or you're like the owner? Or just that you live in the home as your primary residence? Because then renters could apply if that's the only stipulation.
But you
For
can
the
only
terms,
up
it's
to a-
verification of income, residency, and ownership is required.
Yeah, I got it.
Because the
Okay, so
the
you're,
challenge with doing like a renter applied thing is that, okay, so I'm a renter, I want to do this. Well, great, I just upgraded the house for the landowner who now is going to kick me out at the end of the upgrade and now can sell the house for more or rent it for more. And that's why they don't do that, because there's so many owners that would really abuse their renters over a program like this.
And there is a match required for it, so like money has to go down for it, it's not just a grant, you know?
yeah, that was the other thing I was wondering about it because it does put a little bit, how much, what's the match? That was the only other reason I was curious about it because it was, it does, I don't know what the match is, but it does put it out of
The
the
maximum
realm.
grant is $8,000 and requires a $2,000 homeowner match.
Yeah, so it may like put some out of reach. It may put it out of reach for some people.
And I think sometimes cities use these kind of programs as a way to keep older homes owner occupied. That's part of the carrot for them is that, gee, we have this incentive, it's gonna keep owner occupied houses versus a lot of rentals.
Yeah, and also to like kind of, house maintenance is a pain, but if you maintain your property, it pays off in the long run, but not everybody is interested in doing that. Or has the know-how or knowledge. It's easy to let it go to shit.
The one note I'll add is, like I said earlier, this is a really popular program as is. When I think of expanding a program, usually that's if you're struggling and you need more participation.
Yeah.
But we're,
Clearly, we have enough low to mid-income homeowners that are really benefiting from it, which is my 2 cents.
Then maybe I would wonder if it's possible to build on the success of this program for something kind of in between that and like something like an Excel Energy Squad, where it's, you know, Excel was like, it was great, but dude spent 15 minutes putting weather strips on. And this is like a major appliance overhaul. Is there's an in-between where you can get a little bit, my consideration would be like, it's applicable for more people and you don't necessarily, you need your landlord's permission, but it's not a big deal. But
Christine, for the DRCOG funding, aren't they doing a lot of rebates for homeowners for building electrification and energy efficiency? I know they're gonna be doing electrification, yeah.
But not energy efficiency, which is why my brain was turning as we were talking that I think it might be most beneficial if our grant program went towards insulation, air sealing, and windows. Because then you could avoid gas versus electric debate completely. And it would make it more resilient for extreme weather events because you can live in your house longer if your power or gas goes out. Or it's a blizzard or a heat wave, you can live in it longer before it gets to be life or death. So you could make a really good case for multiple things. And then it would potentially allow that grant funding to stretch further, maybe 20 houses instead of 10, because you're not paying for an expensive HVAC system.
and then I don't know, to tie on to that, Killian, you had mentioned about the Excel and like the tiers, and there's a tier that you pay for, and maybe you tie into that. If you're talking about the mid-grade, like mid-level, coming, you know, supplementing that Excel overhaul for that tier, giving a rebate back on that, kind of meets what you're saying, where they're gonna come out and do some of these things.
Should make sure that the contractors that are doing the energy audits are qualified contractors for Excel too, to make sure that people would get both rebates.
Absolutely.
Contractor education is such a big one.
It is, but I was thinking it could just be in the fine print of getting the grant that your auditor has, that, anyway, whatever would be required for Excel would be required here too. I was wondering if that could help avoid fly-by-night companies, which maybe isn't a problem, I'm not sure.
Sorry, so in the fine print of the grant, your contractor has to,
Be approved by Excel. I mean, they have a whole list of people that basically they've been trained so that they know what good practices are. It's all it really amounts to.
Yeah, that's what it amounts to.
I'm pretty sure I could be wrong. I think to get the energy audit, they have to use from a list of approved individuals. I could be wrong, so I'll double check.
If that's already required, that's great.
And Excel has started, I found this out because we had some work done. They're starting to audit houses that have gotten rebates through them.
Oh,
So they'll actually send out heating, cooling engineers who check the work of a company to stay certified.
oh, I like that.
And I know the company that did mine learned a lot because it was a tough inspection.
Is there not one?
We could also make the case that if the funding is going towards the thermal envelope, then less energy is leaking out completely. So existing furnace wouldn't have to work as hard. Or if they get a new one, they might not have to get quite as big one because it's not all leaked out the windows.
And it also goes well with heat pumps because heat pumps recover more slowly than gas furnaces. And so a key component is a really good insulation for a heat pump. And so go hand in hand with if they're going that route.
Okay, the next idea is very vague, but I would like to do something more for energy efficiency for our mobile home parks. And I don't know what that would be, and I don't know how that would fit into the strategic plan.
We have that, a goal around that in our low-income energy efficiency outreach strategy, which the new full-time person will really be taking over and implementing. We have found with the mobile home parks, I partnered with the county of who owns that individual mobile home park they're trying to sift through, but we got quite a few signups the last event we did. So we're trying to do more of those per year. And then I'm pretty sure the new home energy rebate program through the state is gonna focus on mobile homes too. So I think the biggest thing will be that education piece of like what is even there and what's available. So yes, I totally agree.
Great. And the third idea is stemming from builders and our housing crisis and homes being very expensive and having a huge cost for going through all the permitting and paperwork. So kind of a brand new idea that's emerging is having some pre-approved plans for very small and zero emission homes. The builders would like it because they could sail through and shave weeks, if not months, off of their time from start to finish. And we would get more smaller homes tucked in, so we'd help with the density and less transportation emissions, and then we would have more zero emission homes. So it kind of hits a whole lot of buckets.
The zero emission, do you just mean fully electric?
Yeah,
Because with Colorado's
Yeah.
energy mix, there's no such thing.
yeah,
It's zero
yeah,
emission.
exactly,
It's
exactly,
still 50%.
exactly,
Okay.
right.
So this would be a benefit to builders because they could go through the process faster. So they'd be inclined to actually build small houses because they could do more of them. Okay.
Do you know if there's an example of a place that already does this?
I heard about it from Fort Collins, and people sent me another couple examples which are in my inbox, which I have not read them. But I heard about it first from Fort Collins, and it's not a long-standing program that we can point to. It's something that they recently got funding for and have been soliciting the bids for the pre-approved designs.
Oh, Fort Collins got funding to do it.
Or something like that. I don't know if they got funding or if they allocated funding. But I can research, I can read my own inbox and bring it in January.
That really sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe in somewhere like Inglewood, it would just be ADUs and small, single-family homes that would fit the kind of places we're building anyway.
I think it's an awesome idea, so I'm excited to learn
Yeah,
more.
interesting.
Any other suggestions folks have that they want to throw in the ring? Again, not the last time you can.
The application of the climate resiliency framework to other city goals such as safety and community health, and just continuing to revisit that for, because like, yeah, safety is the number one priority, sustainability is not, but like, I see them all as the same thing for that.
Yeah, I had a similar question / thought, which is that if sustainability was ranked the lowest priority, strategically, can you it's so interconnected to other priorities in there, but strategically, maybe there's a more direct way to start to call that out, so that it's not bottom of the barrel. When it's so integral to achieving the other priorities that are.
So calling out how sustainability,
Supports or helps achieve the other priorities.
And maybe that's something we have to really develop with that language.
I don't know if this is possible, but something that appears to be missing is, like social connections and how that supports resiliency. You know, how it's important to have social connections in your neighborhood if there's some sort of natural disaster or heat wave or a cold snap where you're.
Are you thinking like the cooling rooms or whatever? It was not what it's called.
No, more so just like a network of neighborhood communication.
Like
There's some, I didn't read it as, I don't know, I didn't read it very thoroughly, but there was like some community disaster relief and
There's some text
yeah,
messages, but
there's
I don't know.
some stuff in there already about.
There, okay.
But I think you're thinking more of like, or I could be misunderstanding it, but like, it sounds to me like what you're saying is more nuclear. Meaning like, I don't need to know what you're doing over there at Oxford and Santa Fe. I'm looking for my neighbors right here in my little like
Yeah, it's
block,
like
and I wanna know
maybe-
where are we going, what are we doing?
But it's also like,
Who
you know,
needs
the
help?
person across the street like lives by themselves and maybe they're on an oxygen machine, or like you have a
Yeah.
generator, but they may need it for their CPAP machine. It's like, it's like.
You're
looking
like,
out
I
for
wanna
your-
help the person across the street, I don't
Yeah.
need to, like, the person, you know, so far away, not that I don't wanna help them, but like, the
Yeah, no,
reality is that
that's
there's an
right.
issue and an emergency or whatever.
Yeah, like there's just been a lot of evidence that, you know, if there's any sort of disaster, that if people check in with their neighbors and just make sure they're okay, then there's a lot better outcomes in terms of mortality even, so. Yeah, eventually I'd like to see some kind of neighborhood network of checking on each other.
For this commission, I think about how our parks and our green spaces support being a third space in a community gathering space. And just like making sure that that is a part of these parks bond initiatives and
I
things
agree.
like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
parks that are a great meeting space if you have a dog. But
Yeah.
could go beyond that,
Yeah.
more accessible.
Isn't there a chapter in the strategic plan on neighborhood connectedness or?
There is,
There's
yeah, it's a-
community
it's a-
engagement
I
and
haven't
community
looked.
well-being.
That could be suggested for a goal there.
Yeah, I'll have to look through that one. It might go back to like you're saying, like time sustainability and other aspects of it. I'll have to look through the community well-being one before the next meeting.
And then similarly for tie-in, it would be nice if the transportation section could include miles of bike lanes / bike paths as a metric.
That's good.
miles of bike paths as a metric.
And then maybe if I'm
Slash,
Slash.
sorry.
Oh, no, I was gonna say slash also miles of protected bike lanes.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, because the paint on Dartmouth is nothing. That is
Do you
not
guys
a
wanna
bike
talk
lane.
about the posts on Yale again?
I know.
Just kidding.
I know, they're very
No,
controversial.
but like, would you let your 5-year-old ride to school? And if the answer is no, it's not a bike lane.
Yeah.
like-
That's such a great metric.
That's it.
Yeah, that actually really is. What about the bike, I don't know, do you care about bike signage in that category? You know, you're going down Broadway and the bikes have their own light?
Mm.
Talking about the crosswalk?
No.
You know how it's
Oh,
like,
like South Broadway in Denver?
Yeah, Denver.
The bike gets its own right of way with a light. Like it turns green, it's the shape of a bicycle, but then you know the bike's gonna go.
But
I like
cars,
those.
cars take that as a green light and go all the time.
Yeah, that kind of scares me.
Yeah,
But yes, I know what you're talking about.
I haven't been in that, but I could see that.
And I would like if our signs that are pedestrian could be the kind that have pedestrian bikes so that people are more aware that bikes might be there as well.
Yeah, or the trails, just so that the cars know that you're actually on a bike trail.
Signage.
It's an important part of the equation.
Since we're on this topic, what about more pedestrian crossways that are marked with like the light up flashing signs, you know? Because that would help with walkability.
Should put one on Broadway, the higher.
Yeah, there's a lot.
But like throughout neighborhoods, there are on busier streets.
You're saying to improve walkability, that's what you said?
Yeah, like I live on Logan Street and like around say Logan and Dartmouth, that's like really dicey.
They need one at like Bates Logan when they're coming down that.
Yeah.
But
on
they
that
need
note,
to finish
there's
those
a,
roundabouts.
Huh?
They need to finish those roundabouts.
Are they
That's not
doing
ready for
those?
this.
Are they doing the roundabouts?
They've been on the docket to do the roundabouts for what, like 5 years? Look at it's like an ever-going project.
There's on Inglewood Engaged, I checked a few days ago, they were asking for input on places in Inglewood that are safety concerns that need some
Traffic calming.
attention, and you can vote on what other people have said or add
So
your
I'll
own.
add my own.
And it's been up for a little while, so if you are gonna go do it, I'd do it soon, because I don't know when they're gonna cut it off. And so adding for Dartmouth and going into Bates Logan, like that's key area that I agree.
Thanks.
Well, measuring like, I don't know quite how to say this, but what's your baseline and what's your actual actions taken based on safety concerns in angle fix and other, because that would cover a lot of this plus more like other accessibility concerns that we might not necessarily be thinking of in terms of like ramps and things.
Sorry.
I talk about like for things to measure over the course of the strategic plan, we've got this many, it's great that the city's getting comments and suggestions from Angle Fix and other things, but like, and safety concerns, but like, how many of them has the city acted on?
Sorry, how many of
Would
what?
be great to be part of the plan.
How many has a single?
Because if they're just gathering a bunch of data and then not doing anything about it, that's.
Does that?
You want,
Yeah, just, community input for safer streets and walkability, bikeability actually taken into consideration in design plans.
would you have to do like an MPI score on that?
What is that?
I don't know what that means.
It's just like you send out, you have to get a survey and then it's a survey. I think it's a net promoter indicator or something like that. But it basically is like, hey, this is before, we changed things, here's the after, and then did we improve on that score? So, that's hard to get the same people to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But not out of the question. I was just curious about the measurement of it. What you're trying to measure, right? Like, if we measure in, you can get a direct correlation, this is pretty extreme, but you get a direct correlation between like the number of bike accidents that happen, bike accidents that happen in one time period, and then after you change something, the number of bike car accidents that happen in the same period, and then did they decrease and can you correlate it to that? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, like, I think it would be. What safety concerns can they connect safety concerns being voiced by the community with infrastructure improvements, with a reduction in incidents?
Yeah, incidents, yeah. That's a hard one, you need a data analysis, but it's worth it.
But if you're spending millions of dollars on traffic projects and or you're only thinking about car throughput, then
Or even just a total metric for transportation or safety section on percent reduction in pedestrian and bicycle involved.
yeah, for that to be considered as a safety metric too, not just, we're getting outside of sustainability, but that's kind of.
Yeah, but
it is
except for you
going
can
back
kind of stay within that sustainability, sorry to cut you off, Christine.
tying some of those into their, where else they could go helps the remaining sustainability things,
Yeah.
not just everything shoved at the bottom.
You could use it to measure also your ESG output, right? Like your carbon footprint. So if you have more residents who are reducing the cars and increasing the bikes, because they've got accessibility, you've got a measurement there too that you could lean into if you really want to tie it back into something other
Yeah, I know there was a metric in there before for tracking employee trips. I don't know how much they did.
That's what it's
So
part of it.
in the resiliency framework, we had in there expand Angle Ride community-wide. In the Way to Go app, you can track your trips and see how much like you save and everything. So I have to reach out to Dr. Cog because they're the ones that own it, but it would be cool if we could create kind of like a city of Englewood community and residents could track it that way, and then we can see.
Yeah,
That would be really cool. I don't know if that's possible, but with the expanding Angle Ride, it was mainly like green multimodal education, increasing that, because we heard from you all too, that it was like, we're very much lacking in that space in Englewood.
yeah, it's definitely an urban thoroughfare and not necessarily like. On a separate note though, I'm still waiting for the Eagle Ride.
Swag,
Yes.
it's on my list.
Eagle Ride swag, man, that's a cool logo. I want one. So I think you should do it citywide.
2 more ideas, maybe, percent tree canopy in our, lower income areas. And do you remember when we were looking into moving all our houses from flat water meters, flat rate to variable rate? And you're supposed to change over when you sell your house or buy it, but then we found out that maybe there's no enforcement on that or any way to track that, and I think that could be something excellent to dig into. And I'm not sure what the goal or metric would be, but I know there's something there. Improved enforcement and tracking of converting from flat to variable rate at the time of sale.
I think the metric could just be percent of households with.
Yeah.
With the flat
Yeah.
meter,
Uh-huh.
but with the goal of, like
Yeah.
reducing that number through what you're saying here of improved enforcement.
Uh-huh.
We finally got our legit meter, no longer flat rate households, very exciting.
Oh.
Are your showers so much shorter now? You're like, oh.
No, because I'm still in the 2 month where I don't have a bill yet.
Nice.
Consequences of my actions.
As far as on resiliency and stuff, there is a program that Excel is doing for people to put in battery walls, where they can opt into a program that makes their battery walls available to Excel to balance out the power, like in the middle of summer when it's really hot and everybody's running, they can actually pull that out into the neighborhood and balance the load in the neighborhood. And it's a brand new program. They only do so many a year because, again, the wiring infrastructure has to be able to handle it. But they are adding quite a few every year with the idea that eventually that will be part of what protects neighborhoods from brownouts and that kind of stuff when it gets hot.
Microgrid, that's cool.
Is this coming from solar panel or how are they?
Well, if you have the battery walls. So it's a way of storing energy. I mean, and usually it's paired with solar because that will charge the batteries. But it also can sustain an individual house, like if there's a power outage. Well, I have battery walls on my house and it will run my house for 8 hours without even being connected to Excel. And I'm actually they only can do so many a year because they have to do this whole thing with the wires. But in January, mine will be starting. It's only been 1.5 years since I said I'd join, but it'll be that type of thing. And so many days a year, they can pull the power out of my batteries to help balance the neighborhood.
And then they presumably compensate you for that?
Well,
Or
they compensate you Excel style, which means you pay retail, they compensate wholesale, but yes,
Okay.
Here's a little bit to go get you going.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that recommendation then like maybe increase education around?
Because I think that's, education or, I don't know how the municipality engages in Excel at all, or if there is any, but some way to encourage that, because I think of that as a real protection for people. You know, when you think of the power outages and someone who is elderly in a hot house or whatever, making our neighborhoods crash less is a.
Bruce, does this represent what you said accurately? I just want to make sure I'm not misspeaking. So increase education around energy resiliency programs available to residents?
I would say battery.
And specifically the battery, the battery wall program.
Load balancing.
That's really cool. It could be such a good like equity.
What, yeah, I know,
thing
I've
for
not heard of
For
that.
cities to do, like people who can afford to get this infrastructure to have a battery wall can help their community.
And
As far as
again,
like what to broadly, like, this is the 5-year strategic plan, so as far as like what we'd want the city to have as their like long-term
Right.
goal, I think that's a great example of what could fit into like,
a goal.
could be expanded beyond that.
Agreed.
Like think even, you know, I'd want the city to think even bigger than that. What other big and small examples, but I love that, like thinking about, yeah, how can we make people aware of all the different, like all the different grant options, and just have the city help people lean into all those different things like that battery wall, or just home efficient, like heating efficiency upgrades, all that, but yeah, like, then that's, all you gotta do is just the outreach portion of it. It's not like the city even has to implement it, but if we are doing stuff, implement it too. But I like keeping it as a, if we're gonna ask for that, I like having it as a broader goal.
And maybe part of it is just education.
And maybe just education of battery energy storage, which could then have specific actions after it, because even individuals getting battery storage for their own house would take load off the grid when it's strained and therefore help someone anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Englewood doesn't run the grid though.
Inglewood has what?
Englewood doesn't run the grid, Excel does.
Right.
So the
Right.
city council doesn't really.
I know, that's why I was gonna say, I don't know what the
Responsibility to maintain
relationship
power
with
to
the city and
homes.
Excel is.
Yeah, so just education about emerging opportunities with battery energy storage.
Does the city have like a POI, like a grant assistant, like a point of contact for residents to call or have questions or like assistance with an application? Is that a thing?
We, for like anything related to energy,
Grants?
so through the Dr. Cog funding, they actually created this like sub-program where anyone can either go online and fill out this form, and I think they're gonna have call centers too available for it. But then Excel also has customer service lines you can call for things like energy assistance if you need it for the month. And
Yeah, I can tell you, trying to do this in my own house, it is so new that even Excel doesn't know how it works yet. It's really a mess right now. It's like flip a coin and see what your bill will or won't be this month because you have no other way of knowing. But I think it will develop as time goes on.
Well, at least that gives you the leeway to go back and be like, hey, last month it was $500 cheaper. Can you match it? And then do that.
all right, anything else folks want to add to the brainstorm dump?
Have you guys, this is just curiosity, have you guys seen any increase in the number of people using that BART since it got like a rebrand on it or anything?
That is a great question that I don't know the answer to, but I can find it out.
That would be interesting. 'cause
The BART, the BART
Oh,
trolley.
BART,
ride.
Yeah,
I
because
so
if it
often-
did, then you'd be like, well, maybe we put a little more, another route or two in there, and that's where I was going.
Or, and I can tell you why I don't use it, there's no timetable.
Oh.
I couldn't catch a BART down here because I need to know I can get here by 6:30.
Yeah, definitely
It just
goes
runs
around on
every
its circle.
15 to 75 minutes. And so, like, well, I'm being a little hyperbolic, but not really.
What if it, I'm not even making a joke, what if it shared its location with you?
So it has its own tracker separate from RTD's tracking system. You can actually track where the buses are, but it's rarely worked for me, but there's no like, I can pick it up in front of Swedish at this time. It just, it's like, it runs every 20 minutes and I go there and I wait between 1 and 20 minutes and it might be 40. Like, is how it kind of operates right now.
That sounds like it's on my time.
And so but the thing is, when I have written it, there are people on it. They're taking it like from their home to King Soopers and back and forth, but it's people who've got, it's older people who've got time or just have no other, people who are older and disabled have no other choice. So I love that it's there. And I'm not trying to like, I sounded like I was trying to crap on it, but I actually really, really love that it's there for that. And
Yeah, but
a way
it's
to
like-
make that connection that RTD is clearly missing, because the 35 only runs like every half hour or something. But it would get, I think, even better utilization, be better able to serve the people it already serves if it had posted times that it actually stuck to. And
Or even like an ETA, like if you could see it, be like, oh, it looks like this is on track to arrive at this
Yeah,
time, and then you're like, oh shit, that'll be there.
yeah, there's like a little bit of an online tracker, but it's not like I can't plan a trip in advance with it.
Right. And that and things like if they adjust their schedule for time of day, rush hour, that kind of thing, I don't know if they do. Because that makes a
Yeah, I
big
thought they
difference
just
too.
drove around in a loop all day.
My impression was there were a couple of drivers, and if one of them needed a break, then the next ride wasn't gonna happen for a little bit longer, which drivers need their breaks, like, I get it, but.
Yeah, you could see if the rebrand, if there was an increase in that and then tie it in if it made sense, but.
All right, well, I will send these out to everyone so they have it. And then we'll continue the conversation at the next meeting. But I think that was a great brainstorm, y'all. It was a lot.
Some ideas.
Yeah. All right, the next one on here is the Bellevue Park discussion. I know this is a standing one.
Do you guys remember?
Can we do an action item real quick? I talked to Rick about this. I've, just due to scheduling conflicts, Rick is now with Elizabeth as the commission rep.
Well, I wouldn't say that. He told me the meeting was canceled, and it wasn't.
Oh, okay, great. Thanks, Rick. But I'm now the, well, I'd like to be
The alternate?
alternate.
Mhm.
And I don't know if we need to vote on that to promote Rick.
I don't think you do, but I always say on the safe side, why not? So voting on moving Logan to the actual member of the park bond and putting Rick as now the alternate in case one of you can't go.
Otherwise,
Never mind, switching it.
Rick's the permanent member, Logan's
Rick
the alternate.
permanent, yes.
Mhm.
Chair. Is that?
Yeah, can I start a motion? No, I just opened the floor. I'll open the floor to doing that. If anyone wants to have a motion.
I'll make a motion to demote myself from Commission's, permanent Parks Bond Rick.
Do you need me to second it?
I will, and then promoting Rick to the full-time member for the Sustainability Commission.
I second the motion, or I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay.
Nay.
Oh.
She just wanted to see if it worked.
Dinger, we love it.
Testing the process.
Now we gotta do a vote again. Let's go.
Thanks. I talked to Rick about that a few weeks ago.
Strike that from the record.
It's already locked in, sorry.
They did pull the meeting down this last month. Or
Did
did they actually have it?
No, they didn't. This, it was like, they did not have it because it was over on Thanksgiving.
Got it.
And they are not having one this month in December because it would happen on Christmas.
Yep.
So they are just sending out like an update of where it's at, which is not updates in Bellevue Park at the moment.
Okay.
And then Rick really did tell me the meeting was canceled in October, and I blindly trusted the man. It was not.
So no updates.
No, the only thing is just any ideas that came about for Bellevue Park, right? So do you guys remember with the floodplains?
Yep.
Like they gotta move the farm, the whole thing, and then we're gonna come to them and say, hey, we got some ideas. Here's some options. And this was just a brainstorming. If it's not, we're gonna come back next month. We'll do it next month as well.
I did a little bit of looking and didn't find any like plug and play, here are the best possible plants to put in a floodplain / rain garden in Colorado specifically. I don't know if you found anything more useful than that either, but there isn't like this is your prescribed resource. So my next step would be, I could reach out. That was just looking for resources on the internet without actually contacting anybody, but I could actually email CSU, Wild Ones, a few others, and or see if there's other like outreach volunteers that we can say, hey, here's our specific situation. If we're gonna make any biological recommendations to the parks designer, do you have any community volunteers who might even be able to either email us a list of recommendations to go over, or possibly even would want to present at a commission meeting? I mean, in a perfect world, we'd have them at the same time as the parks plan, but I know that would be probably pretty hard to coordinate. But they would probably ask, what do you want? Well, what would you want to plant in this space? So like, if I'm going to email what kind of garden planting landscape we would love to see, my thought is like possibly a demo rain garden, possibly a community garden if there's anywhere flat enough, but like other ideas for things to ask about, but like specifically, obviously there's lots of ways to plant stuff in Colorado, but this is kind of a community space and a flood zone, so like what?
Yeah, it's like a potential, right? It's not like I forget the percentages of it.
100-year.
Yeah, so it's like, well, we can't have live things there.
But it is also like kind of riparian too, right?
But also the way that it sits is like, all that water's running down, so it's gonna get more. Anyway, with all that, I think we just need to come back with some ideas, so.
Okay.
Does anybody want to brainstorm on an approach? Like what Killian suggested?
Maybe I can just keep looking for examples or ask if they have examples of things they've implemented in similar situations in other communities.
Yeah,
We could do that in January.
yeah, you wanna do
I
that
think we have
January?
time.
And then Fort Collins, I feel like did something.
Well, and I'm also wondering if we should really look at the way that park is used differently than most other parks. And although, I mean, I'm there with my grandkids all the time, and it's, 1,000 people playing in that river and all along it all the time. And so I think that needs to be taken into consideration, that it is kind of a different type of park. Most of the time, even now, the railroad and the farm, they've always been open just for limited hours, but the rest of the time, it's full of people using it in different ways. And so I think we really should, take that into mind, that it'd be a shame to ruin that.
You know what, and I'm just gonna throw this out here because that's a really good point. And I'm gonna throw this out here because I live by Emerson Park. I think do you know where it is?
Yeah.
And the Emerson Park was part of the Parks and Bond thing. And they want to put in some play structures that are natural looking. And oh my God, the neighborhood is losing its mind. They are livid. And so to the point is that people get really mad.
Overchanged.
Yeah, and it's also though, sorry, to your point though, of how people use it matters more.
Yeah.
Look, guys, we got a really good idea, we're gonna put roses right here or whatever. They're like, but I can't play with the football or whatever it is. That becomes a huge issue. So just something to consider is how upset people get.
What do the neighbors want instead at Emerson?
They don't want them to do anything. They are really mad.
They want it not touched.
Well,
Yeah,
there's a lot of dogs there, right? People kind of.
Yeah, that's
They
why-
want a private dog park that nobody else gets to use, is what they want. I live
Which park is?
Well, it's not an off-leash dog park, but
But it
everybody wants
is,
to grade
it's
it.
like every other green space in Colorado, it's a de facto off-leash dog park.
Yeah, but that's like, that, like, is why I think that that's why the city's changing it, because it causes a lot of issues with off-leash dogs. But if you put in like structures, now you discourage that. Either way, like, you're kind of, I mean, you're right, but they don't want them to do anything to it at all. They want to just like have the police call for fistfights over off-leash dogs. I think that's what we want to
I
do.
mean, to be
What?
fair, it is a nice like green space without any structures in it. So
It is.
I understand that.
Yeah, and I don't think this is like, maybe, I bring this up because I think it could be part of this conversation about Bellevue Park, is that the part of the residents complaining is that they were never asked about that being an option, is can you leave it alone? So there may be something to consider with Bellevue when we are trying to make like a suggestion around this,
Yeah.
is like, are the residents on board? Now, I'm sure that you're not gonna get any pushback when you're like, listen, you either have to like get the animals out of the floodplain or risk their lives. I feel like people would be like, okay, we can move them. But after that, I think something to consider.
Yeah,
Especially
haven't,
the redevelopment.
has the community been asked at all? Cause that is like a.
Well,
a
Bellevue-
good-
Yeah,
They're still in the soup.
multiple community, I'm thinking of Emerson, like I was at the community meeting for that in the park, like they're.
No, well, for Bellevue, cause like
No,
that's
but
like
they're
a.
still so early in the process right now.
I don't think there's been community meetings.
There will be
Yeah.
multiple.
I think there was there a survey that went out? Cause I know that like the surveys for all the other parks that you ever seen, they were out like really early and nobody.
Well, that's a super important point. Like that should be a foundation of urban planning. Like what are these spaces actually used for?
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think, again, like Emerson's probably an exception, but something to consider is like the don't touch my,
Yeah.
I like this the way that it is.
Yeah, of course, the
Yeah, they have no voice.
farm and the farm, that's non-negotiable. It has to be removed.
And then
But what you do after it, I think, should
yeah,
definitely
and in all honesty, you are gonna get, we, us, them, us, the city, whatever. There's gonna be pushback on moving that farm, right? Because that's gonna make some people mad. So there's gonna be a communication that needs to happen around it too, and I think we should be part of that, especially since we're suggesting the changes. So something to consider there as well.
Just one thought I had is like, I wonder if there could be some sort of like walking or exercise path, like with markers or something, just to like encourage movement or exercise, even like, oh, I walked to like mile 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. Or I was just out of town and there was like a jogging path around the golf course and it had like signs like, keep going, this is a, mile loop or whatever, like you can do it, one step in front of another, just like to encourage exercise in the green space.
That I like, I mean, I'm a big fan of that.
No,
I will tell you that Emerson Park, they are livid that there would be a path that circles that area.
Even a path?
Yeah, they're pretty upset. So it's really surprising.
There's some nice houses there, they probably don't want
It's a
other
private
people
park
coming
right
to
now.
use their
Yeah.
path, yeah.
It's huge.
Well, right now at Bellevue, there's the main path that connects with like the whole green, like you could take the path down to Denver.
Yeah.
Littleton.
Yeah, it's.
So that path is on one side. And then the other side, there's a very short, more naturey path that kind of goes right below where the Pirates Cove parking lot is. It would be really cool to take that one that's more naturey and turn it into a loop because it currently spits you out in a field behind the picnic pavilions.
Yeah.
And then you have to start dodging for dog poop and it's like no longer a trail.
Okay, yeah, so making a.
So turning it into a loop would be cool. But I think
I agree.
Bruce raised a huge point that there has to maintain access for kids to play in that creek because families love that.
Yeah,
So maybe our goal as the commission then is just like, look at the plan, or the thing we can express is we want both. We want some, planted green space, maybe like a little nature walk to the side, but that this is a high use park and it's never gonna be a pristine wetland. Like, don't lose the community meeting space aspect either. Like, keep that, get input from the community. Don't just turn everything into, I don't know what they would even do. But
I
just,
think we just maybe the first one is to make sure that it's confined to the space that it's taking up now. So there's no more turf removal, doesn't encroach on the existing areas, right? Where people already are, so that you're not taking anything away. Yeah, does that make sense?
And I think maybe if there's a reminder on the requirements, because I have this vague memory that when Parks was here talking to us, you can't just install a path anymore, it has to be like an accessible path, which is then hard on the
Yeah,
terrain.
there was something to that, that's right. Thank you for the reminder.
Which might be
Cause I was thinking like, Harbor Park, there's a whole workout, circuit around that park.
There is, I
It's
love
pretty
when
awesome.
parks have
Yeah, I got my like 8-year-old out there once. Not his jam, but it was like 100 degrees, so.
There. Hands are burning.
Yeah, this is what you get for that. No, I think I just picked like a random day and just it worked. Okay, so like we'll bring this up in January. So what we really want is just to consider those things. One, we don't want to take away anything that exists already as far as that space. Two, we want to make sure that we're thinking first and foremost about like what that community, how they use it and where the benefits will come. And then three, make sure that we're not responsible for that messaging, but we will have to answer for it. So when we think about that in the context of like, I think this and this is how I'll answer for that. Because I think that messaging becomes important. And then,
I don't know if it's our job specifically either, but like, I don't know, not doing nothing can be cool sometimes too. Like, can we,
I
Is
know,
there
but the
any way for
turf
the
goes
city-
against everything we stand for.
the what?
Turf? Oh, I thought you were suggesting just like turf grass, like not doing anything.
No,
turf
not
grass.
even a little bit. No, I'm just saying like, we don't have to leave everything as a field that just gets mowed. Like,
Yeah,
there are other visions out there in the world that, I don't know. I bet a lot of people were opposed to Bates Logan getting a playground, but man, that playground is packed. Like,
yeah, they were, and there's a lot of people too.
and kids don't get to show up at meetings and
That's a good point.
like,
No, I'm,
It is 8:30, just time check.
yeah, 8:27.
Just FYI.
My 8-year-old corrects me every time I run.
So this-
Are y'all good on the Bellevue Park discussion?
Yeah.
So I think we're going to
January.
January, right? That's our decision. Everybody, happy new year, 2026, new us, new park.
Yes.
Yay, it's gonna be. Okay, so we do have 2 document reviews for approval or any edits that you all want to make to that sustainability division brochure review, quarterly review, or quarterly newsletter review. For time's sake, you all can give it all at once. We can go individually, whatever you all want to do.
I have one thing on the brochure. Sorry, this was literally the only thing in small under the sustainability programs, a sampling sustainability grants.
Okay.
The only thing that I thought that it didn't, I didn't pick up on it immediately that like this is for residents to apply for.
Got it.
So just like a wording that's like for the residents, not the city.
It's only in the
I like would have
URL,
assumed it
not
was
in
the
the
city.
text.
Got it, great addition. Anything else? On the newsletter or the brochure?
I liked your newsletter. Rick's not here, we don't know what the.
Oh, he gave me his feedback, he said it was great. Yeah, he's
Gosh, that guy, he's in Mexico
I was like,
right now.
I did it!
He's probably like 3 beers deep. He's like, let me show you something now.
I was thinking a potential topic for the next quarterly newsletter could be all the rebates and incentives available for heat pumps, since we would have the bigger ones from Excel, the state ones well established, maybe Dr. Cog ones, I don't know.
You know what, Christine? I just realized, wow, you're right, that's a really good idea. Also, for those rebates, like you don't necessarily have to say no fossil fuels, but you can encourage all your wording around electricity so that you would have to really dig in to figure out any other thing. And then you're not really isolating and
Or zero emission. Zero
Yeah,
pollution.
yeah, but just something to consider that, to get that,
Yeah.
that's just future reference.
Anything else?
Didn't catch anything.
All right, perfect. And I don't know if I'm reading the room wrong, but maybe we do the year in review at the beginning of next month so we can feel energized and amped about it, but totally up to you all. This is your meeting.
Move it. Great
Move
idea.
it, you got it. The last thing for review, just to make sure I have everyone right for January, we want to continue the strategic plan section. We're going to have a review of the sustainability report for 2025. And if you all are good with it, I think it's already such a hefty January meeting. The Angle Fix doesn't have a deadline on it. It's whenever, so we could move that to February maybe.
Yeah,
And then the Bellevue Park discussion.
yeah, I think the Bellevue Park, I think we're gonna be pushing it in January, like we're gonna have to walk away with something at that point. You're supposed to break ground. Yeah, we're gonna have to walk away with something at that point. Okay.
I'm starting to say they're
Totally up
gonna
to
break
you.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
no,
thinking of
sounds
the wrong
good.
park.
If there's nothing else for January ideas or topics, we can go ahead and close up this meeting.
All right, woo!
Work, routine, right here.
Great job, everybody. I hope everyone read the slide of the year in review, because I thought it was so great. Every time I do them, I'm like, this is the best commission in the world.
Now you have to add a month.